Hey guys, Zylok here, back for another Paragon in-depth hero guide. Today I'm going to be talking about Sparrow, who is a ranger, which in my opinion, her and most of the other rangers really shine in the late game. So this is going to be your glass cannon, high damage, squishy, late game hero. So as always, I want to talk about the abilities in her kit. I'm going to show you a beginner deck for those of you new to Sparrow and Paragon, a advanced deck for some of you that have more of a card selection, and then I'm going to show you some footage and highlights of how to use her abilities and how I like to play Sparrow. So we'll start with her passive, which is Relentless. Successive hits on the same target deal an additional 1.5 times Sparrow's current hero level physical damage, and it does stack. So every attack that you're able to get off on the same target in succession is going to do more and more damage. Bowshot is her basic attack. Every 1.5 seconds you're going to do just about 40 physical damage to start. Piercing Shot, this ability is awesome. You charge it up and it deals damage to all units in a line, but the range is up to 2,500 units, which is so far away. This is really good for wave clear, but also it's good for catching out enemies that are trying to escape, or someone that's trying to limp out of a team fight with barely any health. Hail of Arrows is the ability that you want to start with. It's going to deal AoE physical damage in an area over 4 seconds. Invigorate gives Sparrow an attack speed boost for her next 3 shots or 10 seconds, whichever comes first. And Inner Fire is her ultimate ability. Instead of firing 1 arrow, she's going to fire 3. So she'll fire arrows to the center, left, and right in front of her for 10 seconds. The side arrows do a little bit less damage, but this is still really good for just dealing massive amounts of damage to groups of enemies in a team fight, or you can use it for wave clear if you absolutely need to, but it's really best to save this for team fights. So that's going to be her kit. With that, I want to go right into the beginner deck. So we're going to start with the prime card. It's going to be Warlord, because on a ranger you want that physical damage. Standard consumables is going to be the Harvester Key, Health Potion, Mana Potion, and Scout's Ward. Now for the actual cards in the build. In my opinion, Sparrow's early game attack speed is pretty abysmal, so I like to start off with a Windcarver Blade and go 2 kinetics and a strike. This will get your basic attacks coming out a little bit faster in case you miss one. More of them are coming out, so you'll have a better chance of laying down some damage on your enemies. After the Windcarver, go for an Adamant Edge, and you can do 2 major strikes and a greater health. Now, the health is because Sparrow has no mobility and no escapes. So if you get caught out, you are pretty boned. Sparrow's positioning is extremely important, but for those of you that might be new to this type of hero or rangers, the health gives you a little bit of flexibility and a little bit of leeway if you do happen to get caught out. So after you get that, you can go right into a Chrono Spike, 2 strikes and some mana, so this will give you a little bit more well-rounded of a build. The CDR will help you get your abilities out a little bit faster, and the mana will help you from running out of mana while you're using those abilities. So after you've got those, you can go right for a Spear of the Rift Hunter. So at this point you've got some damage, start building crit. So go major wound and 2 wounds, and then after you get your crit, you want to get your crit bonus. So you'll go right into a Blade of Agora. Just put 3 strikes on it, get it maxed out fast so you can get the 50% crit bonus from the fully upgraded card. So this is going to give you 49 points total, which means you have, for your last card, 11 points to play with. So you can kind of, depending on what your situation is, go with a different last card. It's not really going to matter all that much. If you're feeling good and you're ahead, go with another Windcarver Blade, 2 strikes and a kinetic, give yourself some more attack speed and damage. If you find yourself dying a lot, getting caught out, you can go with an Amulet of the Veteran, give yourself some health and a little bit more damage. Or if you find that nobody's really taking care of the harvester duties on your team, you can be a bro and build a Brawler's Key, which will give you some more damage, mana, and allow you to place those harvesters. That's going to be the beginner build. The advanced build that I like to use is going to be as follows. Same thing with the beginner deck. You're going to start with a Windcarver Blade, 2 kinetics, and a strike. Once you get that maxed out, go into Spear of the Rift Hunter. So you want 2 major strikes and a wound. This will give you some damage and also slightly start to build into your crit. This build is going to end up being a pretty high crit build. I think it's close to like 45 or 50%, something like that. So after the Spear of the Rift Hunter, I like to build offensive maneuvers because the passive is fantastic. Gives you some armor and energy armor against basic attacks, which is really nice if somebody jumps on you. It'll help you last longer in those fights. And also you want to start really going towards that crit. So put 9 points worth of crit in whichever cards you have. I've got a Zealous Wound, a Righteous Wound, and a Wound. Once you've got your crit built up, again, go for your Blade of Agora. I just put 2 strikes and a minor strike on it just to max it out as fast as possible and get that crit bonus going. So the final 2 cards, the order in which you build them is going to be up to you. So the final 2 cards are going to be another Windcarver Blade and an Armor Penetration item. So Armor Penetration is really important because later on in the game, the tanks are going to start stacking a lot of health and armor, and you need to be able to shred through them and get to the enemy's back line. So if you find that the enemy team is super tanky, they're stacking a lot of health, go with an armor penetration item first. The one I like to use is Splinter Bark Vest. So your armor pen item should end up being 9 points, and I don't have this card maxed out because there's no upgrade bonus for it, so I don't need to max it out. And since the base cost is so high, I just have 2 small armor penetration upgrades on it. But the nice thing about this particular card is the active allows you to shred physical armor on targets up to 5 stacks for 6 seconds. So in a team fight, you pop your Invigorate, you pop your Splinter Bark Vest, and then you pop your Inner Fire, and you just absolutely melt through their front line. It's a really, really good item to have. If you don't have this specific card, just go with any armor penetration item that you do have and throw on, make sure it equals 9 points. The last item then is going to be a second Windcarver Blade. This is going to end up being a 10-point card. So you want a major kinetic, a kinetic, and a strike. So that'll round out your build. I think I forgot to mention the Prime card. Consumables. Prime card is always going to be the Warlord for Sparrow. You need the damage. Consumables, you want the standard stuff, and then I have a couple extra ones. I've got a barrier token, a guard token, and a health token. In case you have 1 point leaving the base, you can kind of throw something on, so at least you get something for it. So those are going to be the builds. I've been having a lot of success with this build, and this is how I like to play her. Some people are going to prioritize more damage over crit since the crit nerf, but like I said, this is how I like to play her, and so this is what I'm going to show you guys. So that being said, I'm going to go right into some gameplay footage and show you guys some Sparrow highlights. So this clip starts roughly about the 17-minute mark. As of right now, I'm 0-0-1, so nothing too impressive happening in the early game. Usually for me, that's actually pretty normal. I tend to play Sparrow pretty conservatively in the beginning of the game. In my opinion, she is really a late game carry, so she takes a while to get built up and get to that point where she can start really doing a lot of damage and having a huge impact in those team fights. So early game, I tend to focus on wave clear. As you can see, the Hail of Arrows and the Piercing Shot does a really good job of clearing out the waves. Even early game, you can clear waves pretty quickly with those abilities. So this Gideon is pushing up, and I'm going to engage on him, harassing him a little bit here. Now what happens next is this guy's going to ult. I'm going to back out, pop my ult, and immediately go off on him. Now what he should have done here is cancel his ultimate and teleport out. Had he done that, he probably would have gotten away there, but instead I'm able to capitalize on that mistake and pick up an easy kill. I am going to talk about the Gideon ultimate and everything a little bit more in my Gideon guide. But for right now, as the Sparrow, I'm able to pick up an easy kill and keep moving forward. Now, positioning with Sparrow is extremely important. So, in this clip, I see my team having a little bit of a skirmish, and I'm able to get a flank. What you want to do in team fights is pop your Invigorate and then your Inner Fire. Now, as you can see, even someone as tanky as Rampage might as well be butter because he gets absolutely melted by that late game Sparrow damage. And I'm even able to pick up this third guy here for a triple kill. Once you get some items on Sparrow into the late game, especially some armor penetration, there's seriously nothing the enemy team can do about you absolutely just shredding them. Now I want to show you guys how useful Sparrow can be in finishing off kills. So in this clip, this enemy Twin Blast pushes up a little bit too far, and myself and my Twin Blast are able to move forward and engage on him. Now, he tries to get away, but you can see right here, I'm going to use my piercing shot to snipe that Twin Blast from super long range. After he's out of the picture, it's a 2v1 against this Murdoch, and there's really just not a whole lot this guy can do. We end up finishing him off as well, and I pick up a double. Now from here, I'm going to keep rolling forward. I'm going to fast forward just a bit here, past some just sort of pushing of lanes and what happens after this, because I want to show you guys what not to do. So the purpose of these videos is not to try and showcase myself as a good player or try and make myself look good. The purpose of these videos is to help you guys understand the heroes, understand their strengths, their weaknesses, and how to play them. So a little bit farther into that play, we end up catching this Kallari off guard, and I'm here with my team. Now I think, okay, we just got a kill, let's push up another wave. I don't realize that the enemy team is moving forward, and my team has already backed out. So I push up by myself like a scrub, and the enemy team sees me, picks me off, and they're able to pick up a really easy kill on me. So, like I said, positioning, super important with Sparrow, because once they started moving forward on me, I was absolutely dead. Alright guys, so that was my guide and build for Sparrow, the late game carry queen. If you guys enjoy the high damage, squishy, late game carry type of heroes, then Sparrow's definitely for you. Pick her up, get a couple games on her. She's so much fun to play. I'm going to leave you guys with one final clip of your boy grabbing his punch card, clocking in, and getting ready to do some serious work on these kids. This is the game-winning push of one of my other Sparrow games, but you know, regardless of that, I hope you guys had fun watching the video. As always, I had a lot of fun making it. Definitely like, subscribe, share, tweet, sing and dance, do all that fun stuff. You guys are smart. You're here watching my video. You're smart. You know how to do all that stuff. Wait a minute. Is that the base? No, I don't want that base. I want that delicious Muriel. I'm going to pick her up for the Quadra, and that's going to be the game. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Tune in next time for my next Paragon video guide. And as always, happy gaming.